First tonight at 5, strong words for an embattled Dane County dog breeder as state officials mandate action this week, or the case could be turned over to prosecutors.
The Better Business Bureau says this is a job scam that many of you have seen before, why it's sending out a warning about it once again.
And information from the DNR for you hunters this fall about chronic wasting disease in Wisconsin. And you're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with us at 5, everybody. We have some breaking news. Republican Congressman Tom Tiffany is launching his campaign for Wisconsin governor.
And Congressman Tiffany represents Wisconsin's 7th congressional district, made his announcement today on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Now, before serving in Congress, Tiffany served in the Wisconsin State Assembly and State Senate for the 12th District, along with being a member of the Joint Finance Committee. Tiffany has criticized Democratic leadership, saying that farms and factories are disappearing, and added that students in the state are falling behind.
And our children's educational results have fallen behind Mississippi. Behind Mississippi. I'm Tom Tiffany, and I'm running for governor because I love our state. I see where we are headed, and I know we can do better. You know we can do better.
Congressman Tiffany joins Josh Showman and Bill Berrien on the Republican ticket, along with 5 Democrats ahead of the election, which is set for November 3rd of next year. A primary will be held August 11th. In Madison, a man is now charged in a nearly 12-year-old sexual assault case. Police say back in November of 2013, a woman was attacked in a parking lot on South Hancock Street after leaving a concert. DNA evidence was collected, but it went unmatched until recently. Now 39-year-old Nathaniel Stabler is charged with second-degree sexual assault. He was booked into the Dane County Jail earlier this month, where he remains on a $300,000 bond. A judge has found probable cause, and the case will move forward to trial.
In Janesville, police say they have arrested a man after pulling out a gun in a vehicle with 2 children inside, leading to a multi-county pursuit. A woman told police she was sitting in the vehicle about 3:30 yesterday morning when she and the man got into an argument. She says he pulled out a gun and fired a shot while she had 2 children in the back seat. No injuries were reported. The man was arrested 30 minutes away in Delavan on tentative charges of recklessly endangering safety, being a felon in possession of a firearm, and disorderly conduct while armed. Now for a look at our first warn forecast. We were tracking a lot of activity yesterday afternoon at this time, but things have settled down apparently for the week. And Jacob Montesano on the weather patio with how the rest of the week will shape up.
Yeah, a lot different today compared to yesterday when comparing that rainfall, and we're not going to see much more rain for really the foreseeable future, not just the rest of this week. Now, as we take a look outside, despite the fact that we haven't seen rainfall, here's a live view from Platteville showing plenty of cloud cover right now, and that's kind of been the story today. We've seen mostly cloudy skies, but looking at the current radar, not really seeing any rain, and we haven't really seen any throughout the entire day. Now, we'll see a little bit more clear skies once we head to the overnight hours. Still a mix of clouds and clear skies, but once we get to Wednesday morning, we're once again going to see plenty of cloud cover move into the area. But once again, we're also not going to see much rainfall. Now, if we take a look at the temperatures, very comfortable right now, middle 70s for a lot of the area, a little bit cooler as you get closer to Lake Michigan. The evening temperatures are going to be in the 60s, so pretty comfortable there as well. And we're going to see similar temperatures tomorrow. But I will also talk about a warm-up that's expected towards the end of the week. Of those details coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Better Business Bureau Wisconsin is warning people about an old scam that's picking up steam again.
On News 2 Now's Jalen Banks spoke to the Bureau on what to look out for here. Jalen?
Eric and Susan, scammers are claiming to be HR reps and recruiters with remote job offers. This scam became popular during the pandemic when we saw a trend of remote job opportunities for companies such as Amazon and Warner Brothers and other well-known organizations. The way that the scam works is a recruiter will reach out and claim that they found your resume on a job search site and will then have you contact them over WhatsApp asking for personal information. This can lead to identity theft and other issues.
Employment scams have been in the top 3 scams for quite a few years already, and they're just getting more sophisticated and complex and more real as time goes on. And this is a pretty typical version of an employment scam that really takes it pretty far. So
The Better Business Bureau recommends double checking for the alleged job offers and see if they're posted online, and to be wary of job offers with inflated salaries for entry-level positions. Lastly, the Bureau says be mindful of easy hirings. If a company claims they want to hire you without meeting you either in person or virtually, you're probably dealing with a scammer.
Good advice. Jalen, thank you. Every year, car accidents remain one of the leading causes of injury and death among children. Experts stress the most effective way to protect young passengers is by making sure they're in a car seat that fits their size and is installed correctly. From the moment a newborn leaves the hospital, parents are urged to double check that their child's car seat is properly secured, because the right fit can make all the difference in the event of a crash.
The biggest thing, if you are unsure about what car seat is the correct fit for your child or how to fit your child safely in the car, is to ask your pediatrician. They are a great resource and they may be able to guide you to free or discounted car seats.
Local organizations like Safe Kids Madison and the Kohl's Safety Center offer free or discounted car seats and installation help for families. Experts also recommend replacing car seats after any moderate or severe accident.
The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources held a media briefing today to update the public on chronic wasting disease, or CWD, in the state deer population. Officials discussed new sampling locations, testing options for hunters, and the importance of responsible carcass disposal as hunting season approaches.
We do still have our endemic, what we call our endemic part of the state, that is really more in the southwest. So where I would say we've seen a bit more spread recently outside of that endemic area is into the west central part of the state. So kind of moving into Monroe and some of those counties up in that direction.
Now, experts say while Wisconsin has detected CWD in more areas, it also conducts extensive testing and maintains close communication with other states to share best practices. The department set a goal of nearly 20,000 samples for the upcoming season and encouraged hunters to participate in testing, follow baiting and feeding regulations, and help protect the health of the state's deer herd. You can find more information at the state's DNR website.
Well, stipulate soon or face legal action. That is the message to beagle breeder Ridgeland Farms from the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection.
Now, the agency met with the embattled dog facility in Dane County yesterday in a move that Ridgeland Farms tells our Armand Rahman was out of their jurisdiction, and animal rights advocates on the other end say it simply doesn't do enough. Armand?
That's right, Eric and Susan. DATCAP hit Ridgeland with 311 violations and a penalty of $55,000. Agency reps say if they don't stipulate to a proposed civil forfeiture by this Friday, they will refer the case to the Dane County District Attorney. Now, according to state law, DATCAP does not have the authority to enforce crimes against animals. That falls under local law enforcement. They also don't have the authority to seize the facility's more than 3,000 dogs. Dane County supervisors have been pursuing a resolution to urge DATCAP to revoke Ridgeland's license and allow the county to somehow seize the dogs.
But again, it would put Ridgeland Farms in a position that it would need to defend itself against what would ultimately be to put them out of business.
I do think it does point to this bigger issue of what is actually happening behind closed doors and how can we kind of improve the regulatory standards, right?
I apologize. There was a bit of a technical issue with the story there. I have reached out to DATCAP and Dane County Supervisor for comment on this story and have not heard back yet. We'll try to bring you the full story later on here in the newscast.
All right, Armand, thank you. Well, you're taking a live look here at Eau Claire, which is just a short distance from where Canadian miners say they found significant amounts of gold and copper. According to reporting from Wisconsin Public Radio, Greenlight Metals, operating as Greenlight Wisconsin, drilled 6 holes this summer in Taylor County and found high-grade copper, gold, and tellurium, a rare metal used in electronics. Greenlight plans to do more testing. However, they face federal and tribal scrutiny.
Jacob returns next. A complete look at our first warn forecasts.
And protests continue to erupt at an ICE facility in Illinois. What the families of those detained are saying and how Wisconsin could play a role.
And how turning off your lights could help birds as they migrate south for the winter through southern Wisconsin.
Jason Wilde joins us after the Packers' first loss of the season in Cleveland. He's focusing on one trouble spot that continues to plague the team. That's just ahead.
On Wall Street, red numbers across the board. The Dow Jones tumbling some 89 points. The Nasdaq falls 215.5. S&P down almost 37. And we'll be right back.
News 3 now at 5. Moving forward.
Well, Green Bay is trying to shift its focus to Dallas after the first loss of the year Sunday in Cleveland.
That was painful.
It was.
Special teams, again, they had a chance to win it late, but had that field goal blocked, and that set up Cleveland's own game-winning field goal. And Jason Wilde has more on that very topic from Green Bay.
Among the frustrations that the Packers have had throughout my time covering them is that their special teams is never quite up to the standard they're hoping for. And while they hired Rich Bisaccia 4 years ago to fix that, those issues continue. Now, it's not always the same problem. It's not always the same area of special teams. But once again, it reared its ugly head on Sunday when they lost in Cleveland, in part because of a blocked field goal.
The unfortunate thing about whether, special teams in general is when there is a mistake, a lot of times they're like catastrophic mistakes. And so obviously the end of the game, that's a bad one to have happen.
The Packers will work to fix their special teams problems and everything else that came out of their first loss of the season in time for Sunday night's game at Dallas against the Cowboys. We'll have full coverage of the Packers all week long for free. And don't forget to sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers our coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, I'm Jason Wilde.
And as Jason mentioned, the next up is a trip to Dallas, take on those Cowboys. Sunday night kickoff set for 7:20 Central Time.
Tomorrow night, bird conservation groups and Dark Skies International are urging everyone to turn off any unnecessary lights from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. in order to help save birds. Over 21 million birds are migrating south through Wisconsin, prompting the lights out alert. Tomorrow night especially, most migrating birds fly at night, and glow from the lights can disorient them and attract them to land in places where they face threats, particularly windows. Studies show that window collisions kill billions of birds every year, factoring into a 30% decline in North American birds in the last 50 years. Something to remember for tomorrow night. But after some severe weather yesterday, it was bumpy this time yesterday. Now it's settling down and very, very nice.
And Jacob has the latest on the forecasts.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing very dry conditions over the next 7 days, and that may even continue for the extended forecast with seasonable temperatures for the next few days, but highs are going to warm up to potentially the lower 80s by the time we get to the weekend. Now, first, here's a look at the rain chances. Very, very small chance of rain tonight and tomorrow. It will be in the form of very, very light showers, and it will be very brief. Most of the day will be dry, and then we're almost certainly going to be dry with about a 0% chance of rain for the end of the weekend and early next week. Now, as we look at temperatures during this time, we're going to have lows dropping into the middle 50s tonight with a mix of some cloudy skies and a mix of clear skies. But then tomorrow will feature a lot of cloud cover, especially early in the day into the early afternoon. Might see some clearer skies in the evening, but those cloudy skies will keep temperatures mostly in the upper 60s to near 70. Most of the region will struggle to get to 70 tomorrow, but that's actually pretty close to normal for this time of the year. What we're going to see at the end of the week, that's not normal, as it's going to be borderline summer-like, as highs could get to near 80, and those temperatures are expected to continue for quite a bit. Now, once we get towards the end of next week, it does look like we will drop a little bit, but take a look at the normal high. By the end of the 10-day forecast, that normal high will be in the middle 60s, and we're still going to be in the middle 70s. And that may continue even beyond just the next 10 days, with warmer than average temperatures expected from the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. Now, it doesn't feel like fall, but if it already officially is fall, and as we look at the fall color report, we are seeing some patchy spots in northern Wisconsin, but not really much. And the first week of October is typically when northern Wisconsin sees its peak fall colors, and that's almost certainly going to be late this year, which means southern Wisconsin will likely be late as well. And right now the forecast for the peak fall colors in southern Wisconsin will actually be the first week of November this year compared to the middle and later portion of October that we normally see. Now, looking back at the forecast, very dry, lots of sunshine, and very comfortable temperatures as well over the next 10 days. Again, just a very isolated shower chance tomorrow. But for the most part, really just enjoy the weather because these warmer temperatures we're seeing towards the end of the weekend and early next week, they're going to be few and far between once we get to October, which, if you can believe it, is Wednesday next week.
Wow, that is hard to believe. It is a gift. Take advantage of it. Thank you, Jacob. Well, stipulate soon or face legal action. That is the message to beagle breeder Ridgeland Farms from the Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection.
The agency met yesterday with the embattled dog facility in Dane County. Armand Rahman back now with that complete story. Armand.
Eric and Susan, DATCAP hit Ridgeland with 311 violations and a penalty of $55,000. Agency reps say if they don't stipulate to a proposed civil forfeiture by this Friday, they will refer the case to the Dane County District Attorney.
The meeting was very short.
Eric McLeod has been the legal counsel for Ridgeland Farms for the past couple years. He says while they wanted to meet with DATCAP to discuss what could be done about the violations, the agency was not interested in that.
We question whether the district attorney would actually be interested in pursuing these claims for the reasons that we tried to articulate to DATCAP, which is there's no factual or legal basis to support them.
Most of the 311 violations involve a procedure known as cherry eye surgery, removing a third eye gland.
But Ridgeland essentially takes the dogs and it cuts into their, essentially the eyelid without any anesthetic is kind of the accusations against them.
Ridgeland says it's necessary for animal research and testing and is done within the full standards of the USDA and Animal Welfare Act.
And DATCAP simply rejected that and said, well, we don't care what the USDA has consistently said over the last several decades.
3 of the violations involve dogs with unintended scratches and assist.
So in our opinion, 3 dogs out of 3,000 plus is actually a demonstration that Ridgeland Farms does an exceptional job.
Now, according to state law, DATCAP does not have the authority to enforce crimes against animals. That falls under local law enforcement. They also don't have the authority to seize the facility's more than 3,000 dogs. Dane County supervisors have been pursuing a resolution to urge DATCAP to revoke Ridgeland's license and allow the county to somehow seize the dogs.
But again, it would put Ridgeland Farms in a position that it would need to defend itself against what would ultimately be to put them out of business.
I do think it does point to this bigger issue of what is actually happening behind closed doors and how can we kind of improve the regulatory standards, right?
Now, I've reached out to DATCAP and the Dane County Board of Supervisors for comment on this and have not heard back yet.
All right, Armand, thank you. Just ahead, how an ICE detention facility in Illinois is facing an uncertain future after families were told their loved ones may be relocated to other states.
And later, it is one of the biggest attractions at the Vilas Zoo, and soon it'll have a new resident. We'll tell you about Nora, the polar bear.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, tensions flared in recent days at an ICE processing center in Chicago. There is growing uncertainty about the future of the facility.
Yeah, detainees' families say they've been told their loved ones may be relocated to other facilities in other states, including here in Wisconsin. The Department of Homeland Security has denied reports that the center will be temporarily closing. Mayor Kawash reports.
Tensions remain high at the ICE processing center in Broadview tonight as families of detainees are receiving word that their loved ones may be moved to another location. One woman who did not want to be identified says she's received a call from the facility about her father, who was detained earlier this week.
They called us at 6 p.m., told us that to bring him something because they were all leaving. And they're either getting sent to Wisconsin or to Michigan or to Texas. They're telling him he had to wait 2 months for a court. 2 months in Texas, and then he'll get deported instead of just self-deporting because he wants to just self-deport, but they're not letting them.
That comes as speculation is growing about how long operations may continue at this facility after protests escalated here earlier this week. At least one published report suggests DHS is looking to possibly stop using this facility and move to a different location. One source also confirmed that with the ABC 7 I-Team tonight. But the Department of Homeland Security shared a statement disputing that, saying in part, any allegations that ICE Broadview Processing Center is temporarily closing is false. They go on to say, Secretary Noem's message to rioters is clear. You will not stop us or slow us down. ICE will continue to enforce the law. Now, one man organizing the protest says they're trying to maintain the peace with a message of solidarity.
Families that are coming in to visit, it is heartbreaking to see them. We've really been trying to stay out of the way so that the families that are coming get a chance to see when their loved ones are taken out.
There are also concerns from families about the conditions their loved ones are enduring at this facility.
He said they were sleeping on the floor. He had handcuffs up for about 12 hours. And he said that there was 150 people in one room at some point.
And according to Homeland Security, agents have arrested 16 protesters so far in the past week as those tensions escalate.
We'll get a final check on the forecast when we come back.
Carry it. We'll explain.
And the fight to end medical testing on animals and the search for alternatives. Our Eye on America investigation continues tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And coming up tonight at 6, a full report on a former Sun Prairie West High School dean of students accused of child sex crimes. What we continue to learn in the case. That's ahead in 30 minutes on News 3 Now at 6.
Finally at 5, the Henry Vilas Zoo in Madison is welcoming a new resident. This new polar bear will be coming to town in the coming months from the Oregon Zoo in Portland. Preparations are being made to bring the female polar bear, Nora, to join Barrett, the zoo's 26-year-old other bear. Later on, Nora will be introduced to a male bear in the hopes that she can raise some cubs.
Got to be the biggest draw at the zoo, don't you think?
Big
The
time.
polar bear?
Now
People
all
like
she
sit in there.
needs is some decent weather for her.
It'll come eventually.
Yes, it will.
So enjoy it while you can, this warmer stuff.
You're right about that.
Yeah, and although Nora will enjoy those temperatures, we may not that much. But we have quite a bit before we get there. I mean, looking at the 10-day forecast, very, very comfortable. We may even see highs back in the lower 80s at times over the weekend and early next week. And during all this, we are expecting little to no rainfall. May not even see a single drop of rain over the next 10 days. And these warmer than average temperatures, these highs in the 70s, which by the end of the 10-day forecast will be above normal. They're going to continue into early October.
That's a good harvest forecast for the farmers. Good stuff.
Yeah, fall is here, but it doesn't feel like it yet.
Exactly.
Thanks for watching News 3 Now at 5. Coming up next, the CBS Evening News. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6.
And you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. Have a good evening, everybody. We'll see you at 6.